is it better to purchase an old existing trade license, or is it better to apply for a new trade license in Dubai? Hello, this is Mehta from Kiltons, and this is the topic that we're diving into today. So, when you're starting a business, it is a common thing that must have come across your mind. Is it better to purchase an old trade license, or should we just apply for a new one? Now, to answer that question, I do not have an answer because I cannot advise you one over the other, since this depends on your requirements, right? Uh, there are certain things that you do have to be cautious about when you're purchasing an old existing trade license. And if you are keeping these pointers in your mind, it definitely has certain perks to it. But if you don't, there are certain problems that you will definitely come across, big problems. So to start off, let's be honest here. Most importantly, that is, if you are opting to purchase an old existing trade license, thinking that it might cost, it might help you save up some financial profits, it is better not to expect a huge financial profit. And when someone is has researched and found an old trade license, or they come across looking for one, especially our clients, there are basically two types of people. The first one is they are willing to choose an old trade license mostly because of the issue year or the issue date. It will be an older date, right? So this is mostly for those who are looking into opening a contracting business or something similar in that sector. This is entirely their own personal preference. Now, the second set of people is they think opting for a new old trade license will save or reduce the overall cost of acquiring a trade license. Now, the most important thing that you have to remember is that when you're purchasing it, you have to check the issue date or the issue month. So let's say that you have purchased a trade license that has been issued in March, and you purchased this in December. And that means you only have 3 months to renew the license again. So this will definitely, all the money that you have initially saved up will be used up here, so there will be no point. So this is something you have to keep in mind before you get into everything. Now, the main topic, the main important thing that you have to know is that when you are purchasing an old existing trade license, right, all the liabilities up until then the previous owner has faced, or the liabilities the previous owner has in that trade license, will automatically become your responsibility. This is something that is very crucial. This is something that you have to cross-check a lot. Every liability that comes under that will be yours. You will be responsible for paying them. So I highly advise you that when you found an old trade license that is that you want to purchase, you go into Ittihad Bureau. This is basically a federal or a central government. It comes under that, and what they do is they run up background checks. They cross-check everything in your old trade license, and they will inform you if it has any return checks, if it has any pending loans that needs to be paid, any bank liabilities. So you don't have to pay much. It's a very small cost, and they will research everything for you, and they will give you the credit report. So this is very important. Secondly, if the trade license has any under vehicle registered, even otherwise, it is better to go to Road and Transport Authority, RTA, and to check for any fines or traffic offenses and to clear that out. Thirdly, immigration. If you have to go to the immigration department, and you have to check if there are any fines. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is if the previous partner in the trade license, you have to check if once you hand over it, will their license carry over. So this needs to be checked. And because what happens is that in future, when you want to apply for visas, you will not be able to. You will of course face issues. Another important thing is if you are purchasing an establishment, you have to check if it has any commercial fines with the economic development department. This can be anything related to, maybe it's a signboard, a fine on that, or it can be if they had conducted a promotions without the prior approval of economic department. So these fines can also be cross-checked. Otherwise, what happens is when you have purchased the trade license, you have handed over the money, and you have gotten the trade license, that's when you realize, when you've gone to for your payment, that's when you realize you have all these liabilities, and that can definitely not be a great news, right? So definitely there are certain perks to it as well. For example, if your trade license, if the bank account has been linked, if they have started up the bank account, you can start using it, because it is very difficult to start up. It is a very complicated procedure to start up a bank account that is linked to your trade license. So you can use that. Also, you can use, if there's a VAT registration in place, that can also, you can easily use. Now, if you can also save up a lot of time if they already have like an establishment card, an immigration card, all of these are already in place, labor card, you can just start using them. You don't have to waste time on them, you don't have to go apply for them. So those are the perks. Now, another, like, you have to keep in mind that the partners in the trade license, the previous partners in the trade license are, in the UAE. Or if they're not in the UAE, if they're abroad, what you can do is you have to make sure that their power of attorney is in the country, so that the previous owner can hand over the authority to you. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. So this is basically encompasses what the points that you have to know, the information that you have to know before we get into all of this. Definitely there are a lot of follow-up questions to it, a lot of doubts. You can, if you have any doubts, if you need any clarifications, you can always give us a message. You can give us a call, send us a message on the numbers provided on the screen, or you can even leave a comment down below, and we definitely do get back to them. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in another video.